Dear friend, your moment of destiny has arrived. Stop everything and listen carefully. This is no ordinary message. The child Jesus himself has chosen this precise moment to reach out to you. This video is your gateway to a miraculous transformation, and skipping even a second could mean missing out on a divine revelation that will change your life forever. Right now, the heavens are aligning, and God has extraordinary plans that are about to unfold in your life. Today, you will start noticing subtle signs that will soon lead to the life you've always dreamed of. But there's a crucial secret that you must uncover by staying with me until the very end. This is no coincidence. It's a divine appointment orchestrated just for you to unlock the blessings that have been reserved for you. You cannot afford to miss a single word. Every moment is vital, and ignoring even a minute could result in a missed opportunity you'll regret for the rest of your life. As the divine changes start manifesting, remember to keep them to yourself, for God's miracles often work best in silence. Each time a word strikes your heart, declare "I receive" in the comments. This act of faith will invite divine grace into your life, catalyzing the miraculous transformation that awaits you. Have you ever felt that financial miracles are just out of reach? What if I told you that a divine promise awaits you, one that could change your financial destiny forever? Yes, you heard it right. God has a message for you today, one that promises an unprecedented flow of wealth, a staggering $369 million ready to be unlocked by a simple act of faith. This isn't just about money, it's about transforming your life, your family's future, and living in the abundant blessings that God has always intended for you. Right now, you might be struggling with bills, debts, and the constant worry of making ends meet. You might feel that financial freedom is a distant dream, reserved for others but not for you. But God sees your struggles and hears your prayers. He knows the weight you carry and the tears you shed in secret. And today, He offers you a lifeline, a way out of the financial wilderness into a land flowing with prosperity. Imagine the relief, the joy, the overwhelming peace that comes with knowing your financial burdens are being lifted. Imagine being able to provide abundantly for your family, to give generously, and to live without the shadow of financial anxiety. This is not a fairy tale, it's a promise rooted in the divine word. God says that your wealth will flow when you step out in faith and believe in His miraculous provision. But here's the catch: this divine promise requires action. It requires you to take a step of faith, to believe in the impossible, and to trust in God's plan for your financial breakthrough. This prayer, which you are about to embark on, is the key. It is the catalyst that will unlock the heavenly floodgates and bring down the blessings that have been stored up for you. Curious? Eager to see how this unfolds? This is your moment. God is inviting you to experience a financial transformation like never before. Your wealth will flow, and the blessings will overflow. Are you ready to claim your $369 million miracle? Let's dive in and see how God's promise will unfold in your life. Jesus always promised an abundant life filled with peace and joy. Even amid financial challenges, He assures us that it's possible to live fully. Picture a farmer who, despite the drought, trusts that the rains will come and his fields will bloom. Similarly, financial blessings can appear when least expected, bringing a financial miracle for the family. The promise of an abundant life doesn't mean the absence of problems. On the contrary, it means finding peace and joy amidst difficulties. Think of a sailor navigating through a storm, confident that calmer waters lie ahead. This trust in Jesus' promise transforms financial struggles into opportunities for growth and strength. In the heart of financial challenges, Jesus' promise shines brightest. Imagine someone facing a mountain of debt, but choosing to focus on the blessings they already have. This mindset shift, inspired by faith, opens doors to unexpected financial blessings and a sense of peace that surpasses understanding. A life filled with peace and joy, as promised by Jesus, encourages us to see beyond our current financial situation. It's like looking through a window and seeing the sunlight breaking through after a long dark night. This vision fuels hope and motivates us to keep moving forward, trusting in divine provision. Believing in the promise of abundance helps cultivate a mindset of gratitude. When we thank God for the small blessings, we invite more significant miracles into our lives. Consider a person who, despite financial hardships, regularly expresses gratitude for what they have. This practice often leads to new opportunities and financial breakthroughs. Jesus' promise of an abundant life also involves sharing and generosity. When we give, even from our limited resources, we align ourselves with God's principles of blessing. Think of the widow who gave her last coins. Her story is a testament to how acts of faith can lead to extraordinary financial miracles. Living an abundant life as Jesus promised includes trusting in His timing. Financial blessings may not come when we want, but they arrive when we need them most. It's like waiting for a harvest. The seeds planted in faith will eventually produce fruit, bringing financial miracles to our families. An abundant life is marked by the presence of joy, even in financial struggles. Imagine a family who, despite economic hardships, finds joy in their togetherness and faith. This joy becomes a testimony to others, showcasing how divine peace and financial blessings can coexist. The journey towards an abundant life often involves learning and growth. Financial challenges teach us valuable lessons about trust, stewardship, and faith. Think of someone who, through financial difficulty, learns to manage resources better and discovers new ways to generate income, leading to financial blessings. Jesus' promise encourages us to seek His guidance in all financial matters. It's like consulting a wise mentor before making significant decisions. This guidance ensures that our actions align with divine principles, paving the way for financial miracles and blessings. Trusting in Jesus' promise of abundance transforms our outlook on money. We move from a mindset of scarcity to one of plenty, believing that God will provide for all our needs. Picture someone who, despite financial pressure, invests in their community and sees a return that far exceeds their expectations, demonstrating a true financial miracle. Living in the promise of an abundant life means embracing peace and joy as constants. Even when faced with financial uncertainty, we can rest in the assurance that Jesus' words are true. This assurance acts like a lighthouse, guiding us through the stormy seas of financial challenges towards a shore of divine provision and blessings. Trusting in God's provision means believing that He will meet all our financial needs. It's like a child trusting their parent to provide food, shelter, and love. This trust is rooted in the many biblical promises that assure us of His unwavering support. For instance, Philippians 4 verse 19 says, "And my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of His glory in Christ Jesus." God's provision often comes in unexpected ways. Think about Elijah during the drought, who was fed by ravens and sustained by a widow's meager resources. This story reminds us that God can use the most unlikely sources to bring about financial blessings and miracles for our families. When facing financial difficulties, it's essential to lean on God's promises. Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6 encourages us to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. This trust transforms our worries into peace, knowing that divine provision is on the way. Imagine someone who, despite losing their job, continues to trust in God's provision. They start to see small blessings, like finding temporary work or receiving unexpected financial help. These moments, though seemingly minor, are powerful reminders of God's faithfulness and the financial miracles He orchestrates. Trusting in God's provision requires an active faith. It's not just about waiting passively, but also taking steps in line with His guidance. For example, consider a person who feels led to start a small business despite financial constraints. Their faith-driven action can lead to significant financial blessings and a sense of purpose. Biblical stories are filled with examples of God's provision. The Israelites, wandering in the desert, received manna from heaven daily. This miraculous sustenance is a testament to how God meets our needs in ways we could never anticipate. Such stories inspire us to trust in His ability to provide even in our financial deserts. When we trust in God's provision, we are invited to cast our anxieties on Him. 1 Peter 5 verse 7 says, "Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you." This casting is like releasing a heavy burden, allowing us to focus on the joy and peace that come from knowing God is handling our financial concerns. Trusting in God's provision also involves recognizing the blessings we already have. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we've been given. Imagine a family who, despite financial struggles, takes time each day to thank God for their health, home, and each other. This attitude often attracts further financial blessings. In times of financial stress, trusting God can seem challenging. However, it's precisely during these times that our faith is strengthened. Picture someone who, despite financial pressures, continues to tithe and give generously. Their unwavering trust often leads to unexpected financial miracles, showcasing God's abundant provision. The story of Elijah and the widow is a powerful illustration of God's provision during times of drought. In 1 Kings 17, Elijah meets a widow gathering sticks to prepare her last meal. Despite her dire circumstances, she obeys Elijah's request to make him a small loaf of bread first. Her act of faith and obedience results in a miraculous supply of flour and oil that sustains them throughout the drought, showcasing a financial miracle for her family. This story highlights the importance of trust and obedience in experiencing God's provision. Just as the widow trusted Elijah's word, we too are called to trust in God's promises. When faced with financial challenges, our faith and actions can unlock divine blessings. Imagine a person who, despite their financial struggles, decides to tithe faithfully. Their trust and obedience can lead to unexpected financial breakthroughs, just like the widow's jar of flour and jug of oil never running dry. Elijah's interaction with the widow teaches us that God's provision often requires us to step out in faith. The widow's willingness to share her last meal with Elijah was a significant act of trust. Similarly, we are sometimes called to give or act generously, even when our resources seem limited. This act of faith can open the door to God's miraculous provision, resulting in financial miracles that sustain us and our families. The story also underscores the importance of obedience in the face of uncertainty. The widow didn't know the outcome when she obeyed Elijah's request, but her obedience led to a continuous supply of food. In our financial journeys, obeying God's guidance, even when the path seems unclear, can lead to remarkable financial blessings and miracles. Trusting in His timing and methods ensures we experience His provision in ways we might never expect. Elijah's request to the widow was not just about meeting his needs, but also about demonstrating God's power and faithfulness. By sharing her limited resources, the widow witnessed firsthand the miracle of divine provision. Similarly, when we trust God with our finances and follow His lead, we become witnesses to His faithfulness. Our testimonies of financial miracles can inspire and encourage others facing similar challenges. This story also reminds us that God's provision is not just for survival, but for flourishing. The continuous supply of flour and oil allowed the widow and her household to thrive during the drought. God's financial blessings are intended to help us not only meet our needs, but also to experience abundance and joy. When we trust in His provision, we open ourselves to a life of financial miracles and blessings. The widow's story is a testament to the power of faith in the face of scarcity. Her willingness to give from her lack led to a miracle that defied natural expectations. In our financial lives, faith can transform scarcity into abundance. By believing in God's ability to provide, even when our resources seem insufficient, we invite His miraculous intervention and experience financial blessings. Elijah's role in the story highlights the importance of spiritual guidance. Just as Elijah provided direction to the widow, seeking spiritual counsel can help us navigate financial challenges. Consulting with trusted mentors or praying for divine wisdom can guide us toward decisions that lead to financial miracles. This guidance ensures that our steps are aligned with God's plans for our financial well-being. The story also emphasizes the community aspect of God's provision. The widow's act of faith not only sustained her and Elijah, but also her household. Our financial decisions can impact those around us, and our trust in God's provision can inspire and support our communities. Sharing our blessings and encouraging others to trust in God's provision creates a ripple effect of financial miracles and blessings. Living out the principles illustrated in Elijah and the widow's story requires a combination of faith, obedience, and action. By stepping out in faith, obeying God's guidance, and taking proactive steps, we position ourselves to experience His miraculous provision. These actions, rooted in trust, lead to financial miracles that sustain and bless us and those around us. This story ultimately encourages us to view our financial challenges through the lens of faith. Like the widow, we might face seemingly insurmountable obstacles, but with trust and obedience, we can witness God's provision. Each step of faith and each act of obedience bring us closer to experiencing financial miracles that transform our lives and reflect God's abundant blessings. Opening the door to God's provision in our financial lives often begins with simple acts of faith and trust. Just as the widow's small act of making bread led to a continuous supply, our trust in God's promises can lead to sustained financial blessings. This journey of faith assures us that God's provision is not only sufficient but also abundant, guiding us through every financial drought to a place of blessing and abundance. Tithing is an act of trust that opens the door to divine blessings. When we give the first 10% of our income to God, we're acknowledging His sovereignty over our finances. It's a tangible way of expressing our faith that God will provide for all our needs. Malachi 3 verse 10 says, "Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Test me in this, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it." The principle of tithing goes beyond just giving. It's about trusting in God's provision. When we tithe, we declare that our security and financial stability come from God, not from our own efforts. Consider someone who, despite having limited resources, faithfully tithes. Their act of trust can lead to unexpected financial blessings, such as job promotions, bonuses, or unexpected gifts, demonstrating a financial miracle for their family. Tithing also teaches us to prioritize God's kingdom in our finances. It's a reminder that our wealth and resources ultimately belong to Him. By giving the first portion to God, we set a foundation for our finances that invites His blessings. Imagine a young couple starting their financial journey. By committing to tithe, they build a habit of generosity and trust that brings financial miracles and stability into their lives. The blessings associated with tithing are not just financial. God's promise to throw open the floodgates of heaven includes peace, joy, and spiritual growth. Tithing can also inspire others in our community. When people see the blessings that come from faithful giving, they may be encouraged to trust God with their own finances. A testimony of financial miracles resulting from tithing can have a powerful impact, leading others to experience God's provision and blessings in their own lives. The act of tithing is a step of faith that often precedes financial breakthroughs. By giving to God first, we invite His supernatural intervention in our finances. Think of a business owner who, despite a challenging economy, chooses to tithe from their earnings. Their faithfulness can lead to new opportunities, contracts, and growth that defy natural expectations, resulting in financial blessings. In times of financial difficulty, tithing can seem like a daunting commitment. However, it's precisely in these moments that our trust in God's provision is tested and strengthened. Imagine someone facing mounting bills and debt, yet choosing to tithe faithfully. This act of obedience can unlock financial miracles, such as debt forgiveness or unexpected income, demonstrating God's faithfulness. Tithing also encourages a heart of generosity. When we give to God, we become more aware of the needs around us and more willing to help others. This generosity can lead to a cycle of blessings, where giving begets more giving and receiving. For example, a family who tithes might also start supporting local charities, creating a ripple effect of financial blessings in their community. The practice of tithing aligns us with God's principles of stewardship. By managing our finances according to His guidelines, we position ourselves to receive His blessings. Think of someone who, through tithing, learns to budget and manage their money wisely. This financial discipline often leads to greater stability and unexpected financial miracles, reflecting God's provision. Tithing also reminds us of God's faithfulness. As we give, we are reminded of all the ways God has provided for us in the past, strengthening our faith for the future. Consider a person who keeps a journal of financial blessings received after tithing. This record of God's faithfulness serves as a powerful reminder of His provision and encourages continued trust in His promises. God's presence is a constant source of comfort and strength, especially during financial hardships. Knowing that He is with us in every moment provides a sense of peace that surpasses all understanding. Imagine someone facing financial uncertainty. The assurance of God's presence helps them remain calm and hopeful, believing that divine help is always near. The Bible repeatedly assures us of God's unwavering presence. In Deuteronomy 31 verse 6, we are reminded, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." This promise is a cornerstone of our faith, providing the confidence to face financial challenges with courage. God's presence means we are never alone in our struggles. Think of a person burdened with financial worries, who turns to prayer and feels a profound sense of peace. This experience of God's presence provides emotional and spiritual support, reminding them that they are cared for and not facing their challenges alone. The assurance of God's presence can transform our approach to financial problems. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, we can approach them with a sense of partnership with God. Imagine someone struggling with debt who, through prayer, feels guided to make wise financial decisions. This partnership with God can lead to financial miracles and blessings that were previously unimaginable. Experiencing God's presence often involves moments of quiet reflection and prayer. Taking time to connect with God can bring clarity and peace in the midst of financial chaos. Consider a person who starts their day with a moment of gratitude and prayer, inviting God's presence into their financial decisions. This practice can lead to a profound sense of peace and guidance. God's presence also brings a sense of hope and renewal. Even in the darkest financial times, knowing that God is with us can lift our spirits and renew our strength. Picture a family facing financial hardship but finding solace in evening prayers together. This shared sense of God's presence strengthens their bond and fills their home with hope and resilience. The presence of God can be felt through the support of community. When we face financial difficulties, the encouragement and help of fellow believers can be a tangible expression of God's care. Imagine someone who, during a financial crisis, receives unexpected help from their church community. This support not only alleviates their immediate needs but also reaffirms God's presence and provision. Trusting in God's presence helps us to cast our worries and burdens onto Him. 1 Peter 5 verse 7 encourages us to cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you. This act of casting our financial worries onto God lightens our load and allows us to focus on His promises of provision and peace. God's presence brings wisdom and guidance in our financial decisions. Seeking His direction can lead us to make choices that align with His will and bring about financial blessings. Think of someone praying for guidance before making an investment. Their decision, influenced by God's wisdom, results in financial gain and stability. The sense of peace that comes from God's presence can protect us from the stress and anxiety of financial pressures. This peace acts as a shield, allowing us to maintain our joy and trust even when facing economic challenges. Consider a person who, despite looming bills, feels a deep-seated peace because they trust in God's constant presence. God's presence is a source of continual encouragement. Knowing that He is with us every step of the way gives us the strength to persevere through financial hardships. Imagine someone starting a new business venture, feeling God's presence guiding them through each decision. This confidence in divine support can lead to unexpected financial success and blessings. Awareness of God's presence transforms our daily lives. It brings a sense of purpose and direction, knowing that we are never walking alone. This companionship with God not only provides comfort, but also opens the door to financial miracles and blessings. Each step taken in the light of His presence leads us closer to the fulfillment of His promises, guiding us through financial challenges with unwavering hope and assurance. God's message aims to create a personal connection with each of us, especially in times of financial distress. He understands our struggles and desires to walk alongside us through every challenge. Imagine someone overwhelmed by financial burdens, feeling a deep sense of connection as they pray and realize that God is intimately aware of their situation and is ready to help. This personal connection with God is rooted in the understanding that He knows us better than we know ourselves. Jeremiah 29 verse 11 assures us, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This promise is a reminder that God's plans include financial blessings and miracles tailored to our unique needs. Feeling understood by God can be a source of immense comfort. Picture a person who, after losing their job, pours out their heart in prayer and senses God's comforting presence. This assurance that God sees and understands their pain can transform their despair into hope, paving the way for financial blessings. A personal connection with God also involves trusting in His timing and methods. Our financial breakthroughs might not come in the ways we expect, but God's plans are always for our good. Consider someone waiting for a financial miracle, who learns patience and trust through their connection with God. This journey of faith often leads to unexpected financial blessings and a deeper relationship with Him. Knowing that God is personally invested in our lives encourages us to seek His guidance in financial matters. When we pray for wisdom and direction, we invite His influence into our decisions. Imagine a person contemplating a significant financial investment, seeking God's guidance through prayer, and finding clarity. This divine guidance can lead to financial stability and blessings. This personal connection with God fosters a sense of gratitude, even in financial difficulties. When we recognize His hand in our lives, we become more thankful for the blessings we have. Picture a family struggling to make ends meet, who nonetheless take time each day to thank God for their home, health, and each other. This gratitude opens their hearts to receive more of God's financial blessings. God's desire for a personal connection with us is also about experiencing His love and care. In times of financial hardship, feeling loved by God can provide the strength to keep going. Consider someone facing mounting bills, who feels a deep sense of God's love and support during prayer. This connection gives them the courage to face their financial challenges, knowing they are not alone. Through this personal connection, God often uses others to bring about financial miracles. The support of friends, family, and community can be a manifestation of God's care. Imagine a person overwhelmed by debt, who receives unexpected financial help from their church. This support not only eases their burden, but also strengthens their connection with God and their community. This connection with God invites us to share our worries and burdens with Him. In Matthew 11 verse 28, Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." This invitation encourages us to cast our financial worries onto Him, trusting that He will provide rest and solutions. This act of surrender can lead to peace and financial miracles. Feeling personally connected to God transforms how we view our financial challenges. Instead of seeing them as insurmountable, we see them as opportunities for God's intervention. Picture someone who, despite financial setbacks, remains hopeful and trusting in God's plan. Their faith often attracts financial blessings and opportunities that seem miraculous. Prayer and gratitude are powerful keys to unlocking divine provision. When we approach God with a thankful heart and constant prayer, we open doors to financial miracles and blessings. Imagine someone starting their day by thanking God for the little they have, and through this gratitude, they find peace and contentment that invites more financial blessings into their life. The act of praying regularly keeps us connected to God's will and guidance. Philippians 4 verses 6 to 7 encourages us, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." This peace is a powerful blessing that transforms how we handle financial stress. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, creating a mindset that attracts more blessings. Consider a family facing financial difficulties who make it a habit to express gratitude daily. This practice can change their outlook and lead to unexpected financial miracles, such as finding a better job or receiving help from unexpected sources. Prayer is not just about asking for what we need, but also about building a relationship with God. Through regular communication, we grow in trust and understanding of His provision. Picture someone who prays about their financial worries and over time, feels guided to make wise decisions. This connection with God can lead to financial stability and blessings that align with His plans for their life. Gratitude also fosters a sense of humility and dependence on God. By acknowledging that all we have comes from Him, we position ourselves to receive even more of His blessings. Imagine a person who, despite their financial challenges, regularly thanks God for every small provision. This attitude of humility can lead to financial miracles that reflect God's generous nature. Praying with a heart of gratitude can also transform our interactions with others. When we express thankfulness, it can inspire and uplift those around us, creating a community of support and encouragement. Think of someone who shares their testimony of financial blessings with their friends, inspiring them to also trust in God's provision. This ripple effect can lead to a broader community experiencing financial miracles. The power of prayer and gratitude is also seen in the way it strengthens our faith. Regularly bringing our needs to God and thanking Him for His answers builds a resilient trust. Consider a person who keeps a prayer journal, documenting their requests and God's responses. This record of answered prayers serves as a powerful reminder of God's faithfulness and encourages ongoing trust in His financial provision. Gratitude can also be a practical tool for managing financial stress. When we focus on what we're thankful for, it can reduce anxiety and provide a clearer perspective on our financial situation. Living a life of prayer and gratitude invites God's blessings into every area, including our finances. It creates an atmosphere of trust and expectation, where miracles can occur. Think of a couple who, through prayer and gratitude, feel led to start a small business. Their faith and thankfulness can attract clients and opportunities, leading to financial success. Regular prayer and gratitude also help us align our desires with God's will. By staying connected to Him, we ensure that our financial goals reflect His purpose for our lives. Consider someone who, through consistent prayer, feels led to change careers. This alignment with God's will can lead to fulfilling work and financial blessings that exceed their expectations. Embracing a lifestyle of prayer and gratitude transforms our financial outlook. It opens our hearts to see and receive God's provision in new and unexpected ways. This approach not only brings peace and contentment but also positions us for the financial miracles and blessings that God has in store, guiding us towards a life of abundance and joy. Trusting in God's promises provides a foundation of strength and courage, especially during financial challenges. The Bible is filled with promises that assure us of God's provision and care. When we hold on to these promises, we find the courage to face financial uncertainties with faith and hope. Imagine someone who clings to the promise in Philippians 4 verse 19, "And my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of His glory in Christ Jesus," finding peace amid financial stress. God's promises are steadfast and unchanging. They provide a reliable anchor in times of financial turmoil. Think of a person who, despite a sudden job loss, trusts in Jeremiah 29 verse 11, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This trust in God's plan can transform their outlook and open doors to new financial opportunities. The act of trusting in God's promises often involves actively recalling and meditating on His Word. This practice strengthens our faith and helps us stay focused on His provision. Picture someone who writes down and regularly reads verses about God's financial provision, allowing these promises to shape their thoughts and actions. This habit can lead to financial stability and unexpected blessings. God's promises remind us that He is our ultimate provider. By focusing on these promises, we shift our dependence from our own efforts to His abundant provision. Consider a business owner facing financial challenges who decides to trust in God's promise in Matthew 6 verse 33, "But seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." This trust can lead to innovative solutions and financial breakthroughs. Trusting in God's promises also involves a willingness to act in faith. It's about stepping out and making decisions based on His Word, even when the outcome is uncertain. Imagine someone who feels led to invest in a new venture, trusting in God's promise of provision. This step of faith can result in financial success and blessings that exceed their expectations. God's promises also encourage us to be generous, even in times of financial strain. When we trust that He will meet our needs, we are more willing to share with others. Think of someone who, despite financial difficulties, continues to tithe and support charitable causes, trusting in Luke 6 verse 38, "Give, and it will be given to you, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over." This generosity can lead to abundant financial blessings. Living by God's promises requires us to cast aside doubts and fears. It's about replacing our anxieties with His assurances. Consider a person who battles financial fear by reciting and believing Isaiah 41 verse 10, "So do not fear, for I am with you. I will strengthen you and help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." This faith can result in financial stability and unexpected support. Living out the principle of taking action in faith requires courage and determination. By stepping out in obedience to God's guidance, we position ourselves to receive His blessings. Consider someone who, despite financial uncertainties, feels led to support a charitable cause. Their generosity, driven by faith, can lead to financial breakthroughs and a deeper sense of purpose. Encouraging action also involves continuous learning and growth. By seeking God's wisdom and staying open to new opportunities, we can navigate financial challenges effectively. Think of a person who regularly prays for wisdom and seeks out financial education resources. This commitment to growth can lead to better financial decisions and stability, illustrating how ongoing learning complements faith-inspired actions. Ultimately, taking action in faith transforms our financial journey. It empowers us to trust in God's provision, make bold decisions, and embrace the opportunities He provides. This journey of faith and action assures us that God's plans for us are filled with hope, prosperity, and financial blessings, guiding us towards a life of abundance and peace. As you have journeyed through this message, you've seen how faith, trust, and divine promises intertwine to bring about financial miracles and blessings. Now it's time to apply this knowledge to your own life. Reflect on the principles shared and think about how you can start implementing them today. What steps of faith can you take? How can you trust God more with your financial worries? Remember, it's not just about learning, it's about acting on what you've learned. Ask yourself, what is one immediate action I can take to align my finances with God's principles? Perhaps it's starting to tithe, praying for wisdom in your financial decisions, or seeking guidance from your faith community. Maybe it's simply casting your financial worries onto God and trusting in His provision. Whatever it is, take that step boldly, knowing that God is with you every step of the way. Engage with this message by sharing your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. How has trusting in God's promises impacted your financial journey? Have you witnessed financial miracles or blessings through acts of faith? Your story could inspire someone else who is struggling and needs encouragement. If you found this message helpful and want to continue learning about how faith can transform your finances, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Stay connected with us for more insights, testimonies, and practical tips on living a life of financial abundance through God's provision. Remember, God's promise of financial blessings is for everyone who believes and takes action. Your journey to financial freedom and abundance starts now. Don't let this moment pass by. Embrace it, act on it, and watch how God transforms your financial landscape.